What's up, guys? Luca here. Luca Teal. Yes, the Ashen one, the Ashen Lucario, the Ashen Luca. It's me. I'm here with another episode of the show. Today, we will be discussing the prices of Game Pass going up, Concord impressions, and then for anyone who listened, the Def Slim Shady, which I thought was I'll go ahead and give you guys I'll just let you know that I loved it. I thought the album was great. I was really hoping and praying that it would be good because I needed Eminem to have a W. And it was more than a W. It was good. It was great, actually. So yeah, we will discuss that as well. But yeah, first things first. Well, Singer, welcome to the show. Okay.
Is I guess Singer is muted or so? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. Yeah, I had to take care of something real quick.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Hello.
It is me.
What's up? Okay, and then Slow.
Yo, what up? We're gonna have a good show. Let's just say that it's gonna be very interesting.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So
you don't think so?
Oh, I never really know how the show will go, you know?
I do. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh.
That dumpster fire of a game. Anyway.
All right, let's see here.
What game are you talking about, Singer? I hope it's not a game you haven't played yet.
I still need to play it for what I've seen, my guy. Like, my guy, if you're out here swinging, you're just shaking your ass for this game.
Oh,
I don't know what to tell you, my guy.
Shaking ass for games. I don't know who does that. That's crazy. What game are you talking about, though?
I'm talking about a little shooting game came out. Apparently you can kill people with a garbage disposal unit. Hey.
What?
The trash can character.
Oh, you mean it's like a vacuum kind of thing? It's one of the tanks that does that.
Big suck, yeah. That one.
It's funny. Look, I played the game. I played the Concord beta. Played it on PlayStation 5 because I got PS Plus Essential. Super downgraded from Premium because, they didn't really provide nothing for me. But I tried it out. It's okay as far as hero shooters goes. I played it for a little while. Initially, I was kind of like really not liking it. Maybe like my first 3 matches. I gave it a little bit more time. I think it's all right, but I don't think it's going to have any kind of like lasting power. And I'll like really get into that in a minute. But as far as the beta goes, I think that time to kill needs to be lowered a bit. Some enemies maybe it's just certain weapons, I don't know, but just like certain enemies against certain other DPS kind of characters seem to just take forever to kill. I think player speed needs to be raised up a tick because some characters don't have the mobility that other characters have, and I think they move just a little too slow. But it's a pretty game. I definitely can tell it's the Sony game because they got like all kinds of cinematics all over the place, which is it's what you expect from something that's published by Sony, which is fine. I think the biggest issues and the reason why I won't have any lasting power, and I know everyone's looking at like the PS Plus, not PS Plus, but the Steam numbers, which is like under 1,000 people were playing it. And I know there are people who are just like, oh, that's not indicative of how it's going to be because, they have an open beta next week, but this isn't a free-to-play game. So you're going to have to spend money on it. And there's a chance that more people will like it if they play it, but there's also, I think, a significant number of people that don't like it. So I think the pre-order numbers is pretty telling. It's also telling that they opened it up to PS Plus for this weekend on PS5 when it originally was also just a pre-order thing for the PS5 as well. that just kind of tells me the pre-order numbers are pretty low. And when you have a paid game, maybe it should have been free to play. I do understand making it a paid game in order to kind of like alleviate some of the concerns that you may have with cheaters, because if someone is going to cheat, a lot of times when people cheat in free to play games, they don't feel any kind of concern about getting caught, because then they'll just create a new account and re-download the game again under this new account, because it's a free to play game. But when you paid for it and it's tied to your account, now you have some kind of skin in the game. And if you get caught cheating, then hey, that's all she wrote. You gonna spend another $40 to play this game again? Probably not. So I get that. Yet at the same time, you are creating a barrier of entry into getting people to try your game out, whether they like it or not. I do think this game gives me a lot of Lawbreaker vibes. And I say that because Lawbreakers I've never heard anyone say Lawbreakers was a bad game, although I heard plenty of people say Concord's bad, but I digress. This is what I mean by that. I've always said when it comes to hero shooters, that hero shooters have to have characters that dudes think are either, well, not just dudes, anybody really, any gamer thinks are either cool or sexy. They got zero of that with these characters, the way they look. And I know like some people may think, well, that has nothing to do with gameplay. Exactly. It has nothing to do with gameplay, which is the reason why a competent hero shooter like Bleeding Edge can just go walk off a cliff, because all their characters were hideous and no one cares that the game played well or that it was well balanced for a hero shooter. No one cares. They don't like the characters, and so they don't really engage that much further. You got to have both. You have to have a game that plays well and also has characters that people can gravitate towards, characters that people make, like people care about, like the cinematics towards. And it's just like, I don't see that with these characters. And I think that would be problematic in the long term for the game. The pre-order numbers being low kind of shows the overall general interest of the game. And so like Lawbreakers, that people said was a competent hero shooter, it died pretty quickly. Now, I'm not saying Concord is going to die as fast as Lawbreakers did. That was almost a record in how quickly that game fell off. But I don't think this game has staying power. It plays okay, especially with the characters that like have the ability to be like vertical. Like when I played with some of those, I really enjoyed those characters. Like this Asian girl with a crossbow, I like her. But I think there needs to be some further balancing. There are characters that everyone gravitates towards, and in almost in every single match, everyone's got like a breakneck speed to pick like the same four or five characters really. And whenever you kind of have that in the game where more than one person can't have the same character in typical hero shooters, right? That becomes an issue where people feel like, I would like to play this character, but I gotta like fight my way to get to that character and then wait for someone to let go of that character, especially if you're frustrated when the person who has it sucks at playing the game. So these are all things that hero shooters deal with. They're going to have to make sure that stuff is, ironed out, balanced out before they launch, which I think is supposed to be in August. But we'll see what happens. But overall, I would say it's an okay game. It's not. I don't think if you're Overwatch, you have anything to worry about. I don't think if you're Valorant, you have anything to worry about. And if you're Marvel, even if you're Marvel Rivals, I don't think you have anything to worry about. Which is probably the biggest issue that Concord is going to have, is that this is a very crowded, out of nowhere, a very crowded hero shooter market. Last year, the only two hero shooters that we knew about that were really out was Overwatch and Valorant. Now you got those two mainstays, and you need to try to steal some of their community away so that you can try to get your game working. Meanwhile, you're dealing with Fragpunk, which is in beta and plays like a Valorant clone. You got with a card system. And then you got Marvel Rivals that's also in play. And it's just, when they are coming out around the same time as you, Marvel Rivals plays like Overwatch with Marvel characters. That thing is got far more of that aura right now. It's got far more of that hype right now than Concord does. It's just they didn't do themselves many favors with launching around this time period. So those are my thoughts.
You know what's crazy? Guys, I have quite a few thoughts after listening to your review of the beta. Some of the points you were bringing up about how characters need to be likable. Now, I've happened to play 2 Riot games where that point is proven loud and clear. If I talk about League, right, the top 3 characters, right, they have the most skins in the game, they have the sexiest skins in the game. Why? Because they sell and everyone wants them, and there's a reason why they have the most amount of skins. And they are 3 female characters, and they are absolutely sexy. And do I buy the skins? Yes. Because it's instantly like, yo, this skin's beautiful. Give it to me. Valorant. You look at the characters, look at the roster on Valorant. The exact same thing. They know exactly what sells, and the numbers is not surprising. And this is the fear I had for Concord. It's not free to play. I think it needed to be free to play. Because you're asking people to pay for the game, and sure, yeah, you can get with that, but you think about the most popular games, especially for the PC crowd, they're all free. Valorant's free. Overwatch, you don't have to pay for anymore, I don't think. Or do you still have to pay for it?
Yeah, when they transitioned to Overwatch 2, they made it free to play.
Yeah, right. So it's like you're asking people who have the skins and collections, and you're asking them to pay 40 to play a game, which, by all it doesn't have the same kind of draw, which is unfortunate. If they just looked at Valorant and Overwatch and was like, let's make our characters similar to that. Sure, make unique characters, but make sure you have the selling power for, oh, I really love this character. Like in Valorant, for example, there's just certain characters that you will main, and it doesn't matter if they get nerfed or buffed. You will main them because either their skills are cool, you just bought a brand new $40 skin. Of course, you're going to be picking that character, and you're going to want to show it off, and be
And that's
braggadocious.
exactly it, Singer. Not to cut you off, but the First Descendant also launched probably in the past 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
And the First Descendant, I've been doing a lot of content on it. I enjoy it as a looter shooter. It's got abysmal reviews. People are hating on it left and right. Their Destiny stands making up stuff to hate the game. It's not perfect. It's a Warframe clone, and it has tons of Destiny influences. But you know what? It's got 160K people playing it concurrently on Steam right now. And that's not even the full community. It's blowing up. It's got like double the number of people playing that than Destiny right now. And you want to know why? Because of Bunny. I mean, it's partially because the game's a competent looter shooter, but Bunny got her cheeks out. And and I'm just keeping it a buck. Like, you think no one's gonna spend $100 for a digital skin of some girl with her cheeks hanging out? But every time I log into to First Descendant and I go into Albion, I see that skin every single time. And the grind that you have to put in to earn that, no. They are not. That's not happening in this short period of time. People spend $100 on that. And so when it comes to like what sells, yeah, a game playing well is going to be like really the prerequisite. That's the bottom line. That's the what you have to do to even get your foot in the door. It's everything else that kind of goes. Yeah.
As you're saying, like Valorant, it's like I main what's her name? Reyna and Sage, right? Do you think I'm maining them because of their skill set or the skins? There's a reason. I mean, sure, the gameplay's cool and the abilities are nice, but like, I want to be showing off their skin. I want to be looking at that booty whilst I'm going around and killing people, right? I'm going to call it what it is. So, and if your game is free to play, like throwing in microtransaction skins when you pay 40 and now you have to pay even more for skins and stuff, that's a harder sell. If it's free to play, like League of Legends, I don't mind buying skins. I played it for 8 years, 160 champions. I got like 800 skins. Am I ever going to use them? Probably not. I'll only use like 20 skins, but you like having to pay 40 and then having to buy on top. I just don't think they rolled this out correctly. They should have made it free to play. They should have probably thought about their character selection correctly. Because we see what happens when you put but ugly characters in your game, right? We've seen it.
Yep, it doesn't last long.
Sex sells, and hot female characters sell. That's just the reality. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
So, Forte?
Hey, Nautical.
What did it do?
So shout out to Yobi for re-upping as a member and then sending a member super chat saying peace, love, life. Thank you, Luca. Thank you, Yobi. Shout out to Clifton with super chat saying it's dead on arrival. One of the characters is a giant scream canister from Monsters Inc. Definitely not a Sigma game. And then shout out to Bless who gifted 5 memberships. Appreciate you, my boy. Thank you so much.
Shout out to Bless.
Okay. Yeah, what's attractive is subjective, but I feel like what's unattractive is also subjective. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. Speaking of attraction, I was looking at a list with my coworkers. We were rating. we shouldn't have been doing this, but we were looking at different actresses and singers, and we're like, oh, that person's hot, that person's not. You know, that kind of thing, or choosing who do we want to be with. And I was looking at ugliest actors listed, right? But when I was looking at the list, I was just kind of scratching my head because I'm just like, well, a lot of these actresses are not ugly. So it really is it is subjective, true. But in regards to this game, in regards to games in general, regardless of what people say and whatever the most popular PC thing is to say, people do want to play as attractive characters. Sex does sell. I do agree with that.
Yep. And as subjective as that is, you still have to kind of like understand what kind of like attracts. And I'm not gonna say the male gaze, but what is considered to be like generally attractive for most people. And you could create characters that don't even have to be a specific race. I don't get it, but like there are people that love freaking Widowmaker in Overwatch, and she's like purple or something. It's just it's not.
It's the leggings with it's the suits with Widowmaker. I'm freely admitting it right here. Like there's a reason people play Widowmaker, and I guarantee you it's not because she's a sniper.
Yeah, and so as much as people may find that distasteful or weird or whatever, like it doesn't change the reality of the situation, and it doesn't change that's why people who like hero shooters will play particular hero shooters or play particular hero shooters for a long period of time. And we saw a lot of people talking about the beta over the past few days. I can say 2 days because it started yesterday. But people who generally dig hero shooters like the game, I would say. I saw a lot of people who I've seen in the past not like any hero shooter saying, yeah, I uninstalled this thing after 2 matches. And it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense to see that. But even those who would dig a hero shooter may look at like, well, do I like these characters? Does this guy look cool? Does this guy like they care about that kind of thing? And when that's not really present, it's not really going to be something a lot of people get into.
Yeah, I'm gonna restart my computer because I can't hear.
Okay, I think because StreamYard's hosting, if you did that, we should still be able to keep going while you take care of that.
Yeah, we should be able to.
Forte, did you play Concord yet?
Nope, didn't even look at it, didn't install it, didn't even look at no videos, no gameplay, not interested at all.
Okay. But you used to like Overwatch, right?
I did.
Yeah. So what makes you not interested in Concord at all?
I just don't want to get stuck in another live service game. So my way of not getting stuck in it is not starting it.
And you started First Ascendant, so
and that's part of the reason why I don't want to do another one.
See, and that is something about timing, right? So I mentioned earlier about like how hero shooters, like there's a lot of hero shooters coming out around this time, and then you got your mainstays that are already there. This is kind of like bad timing for Concord. If this is something that came out like a year ago, maybe it would have a bit more traction, because clearly we saw from the pre-order numbers that it's not really, hitting the kind of numbers that PlayStation thought it would. But when you have just live service games in general, they are time sinks, and you can't really, in order to get where you want to go in a game, a lot of these games are pretty grindy. Like even to a degree, something like Fortnite is grindy because you gotta keep playing to complete that battle pass. You got right now they got a whole event with Magneto going on, a little limited time event. You gotta play the game and specifically use Magneto powers in the game in order to unlock all the Magneto stuff. So it's just like when you make a live service game, you are competing against other live service games within that subgenre, but then you're also competing against the overall general, like the big heavy hitters of live service games, and the people who play those games. You have to kind of create a interest in your game that it's not just better than the other game. It has to be like head and shoulders better, because you're competing against not just the other person's enjoyment of the other game, but they got time, money, and all kinds of stuff invested in the game that they continue to keep playing. What you have to be able to make them do is be willing to overcome that desire that they have wasted money and time and investment in that other game to play your game. And it's the reason why when we look at the charts of like the most played games on every platform, and their games are over 5 years old. The average years is between 5 and 8 years old. And it's because once those games got established, the people who are interested in those kind of titles, they rarely move. Like sometimes, and we'll see this with like the First Ascendant, because I think the First Ascendant numbers will go down as the weeks go on. But there are people who are playing other live service games, people who play Destiny, The Division, Warframe, whatever, that's playing First Ascendant right now. But what they're going to end up doing, some of them, probably the majority of them, is they're going to go back to their mainstay. I tried that for a while. That's cool. All right, I'm going to go back to Destiny now. I tried that for a while. That's cool. Warframe got a new content drop coming. I'm going to go play that again. And that's just the way it is. The reason why the finals came out and was this massive hit when it first dropped. And now look at the finals. Lost over 90% of their players. It's just, I'm not saying the game's a failure, but when you, in a very short period of time, lose your players like that, like any little thing can set someone off and make them go back to their comfort food, their comfort live service game. Oh, they make changes to time to kill. They nerf specific builds in the finals. They nerf the light build. Oh, I love playing light build. I didn't like medium and heavy build. I'm done. I'm not playing the game anymore. Just any little thing could set someone off. And so when it comes down to it, the things that allow these games to really take off, it's almost like you just kind of, you're playing Russian roulette or something, or you're playing.
Hey, Slomo.
Yeah.
Did you see what I posted in the private?
Let's see here.
I can't hear shit. I mean, I can hear y'all, but like my audio is so. Oh man, it's always something, you know. I can't escape PC troubleshooting even on my day. Fuck it off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Singer. They don't design a character like that unless they know who their target demographic is.
Is it okay for me to? Yeah, that should be okay. Just to quickly show the chat what I mean, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. That's yeah. Okay, let me show the chat what I mean. Let me present my screen. All right, there we go. See, now, that character right there. Now, that is the poster child of League of Legends, right? And this is my favorite skin. And I can tell you right now, people Maina, she's a good character, but her skin selection, exquisite. And, you know, I'm not particularly a furry, but hey, I could get, you know, Fox girl. It's cool. But yeah, to see, this is what sells, right? This is what will sell. And the weird thing is about League, it sells more to the women than it does the men. They buy these skins and brag about them more than the dudes. Like, hey, women love a sexy lady too. And no, it's not made by AI. It's made by the exceptional artists at Riot Games who know what sells. So there we go.
And then I mean, just like I think when I made the example about like why people are playing the First Descendant, and it's not like everyone is playing the First Descendant just to stare at one particular character's ass, but a lot of people are. A lot of people are sharing screenshots of Bunny in the First Descendant, and what we see from Concord, if you go put in Concord beta in Twitter, you see people sharing like gameplay clips. People saying, "Oh, I like it," or "I hate it," "I uninstalled it," but you don't really see anybody caring about like these characters like that. And I think it's something that like every developer that's making these kind of games should probably be paying attention to. But I don't think that what is the Fire Sprite, I think, or Firewalk?
Firewalk.
Firewalk. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think Firewalk particularly cared about that, and so I think that might be to their detriment. But we'll see.
And what I have to shout out Dorian in the chat. I'm so glad he knows about this. Riot successfully got people to pay $500 for a skin.
That's freaking ridiculous.
Right? No. Like I'm telling you right now, it's. I mean, it's because the Hall of Fame is probably the greatest or the most popular, most known esports player figure. Right? Everyone knows him. He is a celebrity in South Korea and in all of League of Legends. And they put him in the Hall of Fame, right? And everyone was like, "Oh, they're going to do a skin for the Hall of Fame." Yeah, they did do a skin for the Hall of Fame, but they also added some extra bits and charged $500 for it. And you know what? It sold. I don't know what to tell you. You know. Okay.
Yeah. Luca, are you gonna play Concord? You gonna give it a shot?
No, absolutely not. I have no interest in that game. I had no interest when I saw the trailer. It was kind of like, you know, I feel like that trailer was what got me. That trailer for that game is what prompted me to say, "Ooh, I think all of us are really jaded," because this looks like not super fun. This looks like just like a fun, colorful game. But I look at it and I'm just like, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what hit me, because I remember when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is cool. I'm gonna definitely jump into this." And I kept saying I'm gonna do it. Then as we got closer and I saw more and more, and matter of fact, yesterday I was on my way home from work, and I was like just listening to YouTube as I was driving, and a video ended. Persona's video came up and he was playing it, so I wasn't watching it. I was just listening to him talk about it, and he liked it and stuff. And then I never got the interest to even pick up my phone when I got home to see what the gameplay was like, or to see somebody play it. Because it was like, for me, I'm sitting there like, first of all, I don't want to get stuck in another live service game. I'm already, First Descendant, already playing that. Just wound down Destiny. Haven't really played that much over the course of the last 2-3 weeks. So just the thoughts of wanting to like dive into that, and I'm really getting to the point now with games like that. It's like they don't really incentivize you enough for me to like the incentivization for your time versus what the game gives you. It doesn't add up anymore for me, and it took a long time for me to get to that point. Now, if they don't show me value, that if I'm gonna put 50 hours into your game, that I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy that 50 hours to the point where I can't put your game down, then there's no reason for me to jump in there, because then I'm just feeling like I'm wasting my time, and then I'm gonna feel like, where did my time go? Because that's what these companies and publishers are fighting for. They're fighting for your time. Yeah, there's other games coming out and stuff, but you can't play all of these games. And then you want to play, other games on top of that. I got NCAA football that's coming out next week. I'm gonna heavily play that. I'm dropping everything for that. So it's like, when am I going to have the time to like really dive into the systems, get good at the game and stuff like that? That's a whole nother thing too, with it being an online game. I'm not going to go in there and be trash. So I'm sitting there like, okay, if I'm going to play this game, I'm going to actually play it. And I don't want to commit to it like that. And I think that's another part of it, at least for me.
A counterpoint to one of your statements, though, in your thing, was when you were talking about staying with it. League of Legends has had 2 maps for the last 10 years. There was 3 maps once upon a time.
Yeah.
There was 3, but then they took away one. So we've had 2 maps for 10 years. The same map, right? They just updated the graphics. We've had the same map for 10 years. Shit's still going strong. Like,
yeah, they just add new.
It's the addiction.
Didn't they just add like flying characters? Like I forget what they call it. They added some stuff to like kind of change the traversal of the map.
Oh, they did. Right. Okay. So all they did was add a few walls.
That's what. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. They added like. It's so degenerate how all they do is release skins and characters. That's all they do.
I mean, that's the perfect map.
Never hear the maps. Variety, not over here. No. All you got is addiction and your skin collection.
Addiction and your skin.
That's all you have. That's what it is, right? It's an addiction, and you just can't drop it. So, I mean, if you could nail something like that, I don't think another game will nail that, though. Shame. Although I will try the Concord open beta, because I'm just curious. I know I'm gonna hate it, and I know it's gonna be trash, but I'm curious.
You never know. You might like it. How much is this game?
$40, I think.
See, that's a whole other thing too. I'm not paying for a live service game again.
Nah, I'm good. I did that for Overwatch.
That's another thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I just have there's just nothing appealing about that game for me. You know what I'm saying?
Not for me to pay for it, at least.
Like, I guess I wouldn't mind trying it. There's just that would be a waste
don't say
of money
that
for me.
That'll be a waste of money. You absolutely right the first time.
Yeah.
Stick to your guns.
You gotta.
But the biggest thing is, I think people, it's just, it's FOMO. Some people really, really they want to be there on the ground floor when something takes off, and if they see their favorite YouTuber or somebody playing it and having fun with it, then they want to jump in. And then when they jump in, they be like, oh, the game was okay, or they'll say it was fun, it was this, but why did you stop playing it? You kind of got to answer those questions. Like, if it was fun and you enjoyed it, why did you stop playing it? It was just like I always say, Sea of Thieves was a fun game. I liked it. Well, why did you stop playing it after only 8 hours? Well, it was boring, and I couldn't see myself doing this cycle over and over and over and over again. And you know, we always know how games go. If they don't hook you in the first, few hours of playing it and make you want to come back, what makes you feel like you're going to want to come back when they add more content to it later? Because you're not invested. You're not even invested in what they gave you at the beginning. So what's going to make you invested when they add more stuff later?
Yeah,
that's what makes me kind of scared about Starfield. Honestly, to be honest. I think the people that love Starfield are going to love that DLC. But I think that DLC is going to be a massive change to that game because it looks like a massive change to the game. But I'm wondering for the people that didn't like the game at all, how's that DLC going to fall on them?
Yeah.
Because they didn't fall in love with the base game. If you don't fall in love with the base game, what are you looking forward to?
I mean, technically you can turn it around despite the base game. Take Final Fantasy 14, for example. Like,
no, they relaunched. That's a relaunch. They relaunched that whole game.
No, but like
they relaunched it.
If you have a terrible launch, you can recover, but you have to.
If you relaunch the whole freaking game, you can.
No. Well, I mean, Sea of Thieves recovered, right? I mean, it's doing well. So
Sea of Thieves never really fell off the map, though.
I mean, it kind of did for a while.
It had its audience. That's the thing. Sea of Thieves had an audience.
Sea of Thieves didn't have an audience in the beginning. Like it had no content. People tried it and they got bored of like pretty water, but nothing to do pretty quickly. It's when it started to get content, and then streamers, big popular streamers, started playing the game. That it started to get an audience.
Always played the game. They just, when they came back to the game after playing it initially, and they just came back and played more, and they just kept playing it. But like if you go watch those streamers when they played it on day one, they all had fun. They didn't bash the game. They didn't talk crap about the game. They enjoyed the game. And then but if you want to call them not consistently staying with the game, them falling off, I think everybody fell off the game because, like you said, you just ran out of stuff to do. But as they released more stuff, like I was saying, those people are already invested in the game because they liked the base game of what it was. They just wanted more stuff to do in the game. So when they did come out with more stuff, it was easy to go back. So I'm just wondering, like, what's going to happen with that's why we always talk about, like, what's the roadmap going to look like for all of these games? Is the start of the game going to be good enough to hook you? And is the roadmap going to be substantial enough to want to maintain you long term on the game?
Well, I mean, that is definitely something that every live service game has to worry about. And I think that's something that I mentioned the finals earlier, and how the finals has like a player community dropped off significantly. And I think it's partially due to people just being bored of the game. And I'm not saying that Embark didn't have a roadmap. It weren't consistently dropping content, but it's just, it wasn't what kept people engaged. And
right.
Eventually you end up just kind of losing out. And they had characters that people like, they kind of did a mixture of created characters and characters that you could, create all your own, so that they kind of satisfied that aspect of things. The gameplay was fun. And it's because of those two things, the game really caught on initially. But it's just, in order to keep those people, you have to kind of keep reinventing yourself in order to keep people engaged and keep their eyes focused on your game and not on anything else that might come out. And so that's just that's a danger that every live service game has to worry about.
Nope, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I had my concerns before this Concord released, and from what Slomo's been saying, from what I've seen from BG Persona, I've watched other people stream it in the Discord. Everything, and looking at the numbers on Steam, because that was my thing. I was like, it's going to do well on PlayStation. it's not what's it going to do on Steam. And so far, judging by the numbers, the PC community really isn't messing with it like that. We'll see the numbers on the open beta, right? But if the numbers don't drastically increase, because it was floated around, shout out to Muchin and Crossfire. Is it gonna do another Helldivers? And I was like, no, it's not. Helldivers is unique, very unique. There's very few games like Helldivers. But Concord, there's a ton of competition out there, well-established competition.
Let's be for real. Helldivers had a built-in allure of Starship Troopers, and it was like,
sorry guys, I'll be right back again. I gotta restart
my
computer.
You're good.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, that had a built-in like Starship Trooper vibe, and it was like, okay, yeah, I want to try it just because of that. And then it just ended up being a really, really good game. And then they shot themselves in the foot. So
yeah, but it's like, you know, I understand they're probably trying to like, well, can we find the next Helldivers for PlayStation? Concord probably isn't it. I mean, it'll probably do well on PlayStation.
Probably.
And yeah, I mean, but like,
well, I mean, that's no guarantee because Helldivers 2 is considered a major success, and that was
I mean, it was carried mostly
largely
by the PC.
Yeah, mostly by the PC community. So I don't think, you know, just because it's a PlayStation game that's is gonna catch on with the PlayStation community. We've seen in the past that's not always the case. Destruction All-Stars, that wasn't the case with that game. Foam Stars wasn't the case of that game. So it's just, there's no guarantee that just because it's a PlayStation title that it's gonna get that built-in community.
I mean, it'll fill in the gap until Black Ops 6 comes out, right? It'll probably get some traction before that comes out, and then when that comes out, the player base will probably drop off, like dramatically, because you know, people are going to want to experience the latest greatest Call of Duty. Like, what's a Concord? So I mean, it might do something. All likelihood not. I'm leaning 80. It won't do something. 20. It might do something. I would say that's a pretty reasonable odds. What's your odds, Slow-Mo 40, of it doing something on a percentage? What percentage would you give it?
Due to the low pre-order numbers, I got maybe like a 35% chance, 40% chance it actually catches on. Because there are people who do enjoy it, and after playing it for a little while longer, I did think it was okay. It wasn't like a great experience where I'm going to keep playing it, you know, indefinitely. Mm-hmm. Can't wait to I don't have a lot of times when I really, really enjoy a game, when I'm not playing it, I have the desire to get back to it. Like right now, my desire to get back to something is First Descendant. It's not Concord. So but that's just me personally. Just looking at the people, I saw people that were, you know, mostly positive about the game that played it, but it's very small numbers of people who have played it. That's as you get to bigger numbers when the open beta comes, then we can get a better idea of how the general consensus is on the game itself. But the low pre-order numbers and the fact that it is a paid game is going to hinder it. And yeah, so that's why I'm thinking, like, you know, like a 35-40% chance it actually becomes successful.
Yeah, interesting. What about you, 40?
No, I believe the same thing, because it's like when we take Steam numbers, we know that game is gonna, I will say, probably from a critical standpoint, live and die by what the PC player base does, but it can find its little niche with the PlayStation fan base. Like I said, the biggest thing is, what do we characterize as success? Like, I think the game could probably come out and do really, really well out the gate. Like, could it sell really well? Maybe 500,000 in the first couple of weeks, and maybe hit 1 million across platforms within a month. Could it do that? Yeah, but what's going to happen after it's out for a while? Like, you know, when people like really, really start getting into the nitty gritty of what the game is, what truly is, because you got to remember, it's the allure at first that gets you Like the kind of it sustains you in the beginning. Like, what's that next trinket that you want to unlock? Like, I know Slow-Mo playing First Descendant. There's like little things that's on his checklist. Like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. And then that's kind of what drives you to want to keep playing the game. Like, you know, he does content on the game, so that kind of drives it too. But for a person that just plays the game, like, what's the next thing that I'm chasing? What's the chase going to be 3 weeks after the game comes out? That's the question. And how many people are going to fall in love with the chase? Because that's always how these games kind of go. Like, you know, new abilities, new characters, unlocking a certain skin, mastering, you know, map rotations and spawn point and all that other stuff. You know, it's all types of things that kind of motivate people. So I will give it probably a, you know, just on the PlayStation platform, because it's kind of up in the air when you're talking about PC, because they could just have a whole other audience when it comes to that. I would say the PlayStation audience itself on PlayStation has a good 30 to 35% chance of making this game worth the trouble that PlayStation put into it. And then we'll see what PC does with it after the fact.
I just remembered. They're also not, because the PS Plus restriction, because you need it for this game, right? PS Plus. They're not even utilizing the full community of Steam, right? Because the PS Plus thing comes up again where it's only available in 60 countries or whatever it is. So that's probably going to hinder it as well, because people might want to try it and like, well, I don't have PS Plus in my country.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I going to bother playing the game? So that could be something that comes back to bite them again. Is a mandatory PS Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's gonna be crazy. Luca, you back?
Oh, I am, and my audio's still messed up, so tis right. But yeah. So I honestly, unless like something happens, we are talking about Concord still, right?
Yes.
Unless like something happens to like push it, I think this game is dead on arrival, honestly speaking, especially based on how people are talking about it. People I've seen play it on my timeline, and it's not just like the Xbox guys on my timeline. It's, you know, I saw BG, I saw Blaze, you know, just saying, oh nope, this is not it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very curious. I know Jay Barry and Persona like it, and they're big into shooters, so you know, I definitely think it does have a place, and it could have people playing it. But as for sustainability is like the biggest thing when it comes to these live service games, which I believe is what Nautical and Singer and Slow you guys were talking about, right? And I just I don't know if this game has that long-term hook. You know what I'm saying? So I if you know, if you enjoyed the game, I like it. You know, you like it, I love it. You know what I mean?
Right. It takes a lot for you to want to chase after stuff in the game, man.
Yeah.
Albert and Saber, did you guys play Concord? Did you guys like actually play the game? Like, what are your thoughts on it? Because I know you guys are PlayStation guys, so I was curious if you actually got the chance to try it out. And what's up, Mav? How you doing, buddy? Let me say hi to some folks. What's up, Max? Mass Produce.
You know what's also as wild, before we move on real quick? I ran into at least 2 people in the gaming community when I played that bit. And I have not played a lot. I think I maybe got up to like level 7. Which you could get up to that pretty quickly. I may have played maybe a handful of matches, a dozen at the most. And I ran into about 3 people in the gaming community based off of them knowing their gamer tags. One of them's a YouTuber. So it's funny that player account numbers were that low for the game, that you're just, you know,
you're running into people you actually know. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That also spells doom as well, because the fact, like, if a game releases and it has super high player count, me and Slow-Mo play it, I'll never meet him in game, more than likely. Like 9 times out of 10, well, 99% of the time, I won't run into him. But the fact you're running into people you know or you've heard about, that is wild to me.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
that's
But Dwayne, what's up? Iman, what's up? Arcade, how you doing, buddy? Saber says he's got 11 hours in. Very nice. What's up, King Metro-chan? What's up, Dorian? What's up, Chris? I like Concord's crew management feature that allows you to increase reload speed, movement, etc. I also like how the variant skills have different passive skills changing up the character. Oh, that's interesting. Texas, what's up? For the first month, it will do okay, but it's not doing Helldivers numbers. Okay. What's up, Capono? How you doing, man? But yeah, how are you guys doing? Leaky, what's up, man? Hope everybody's doing well. It is super hot, and things just do not want to work for me. You know what I'm saying? So,
also to kind of like play that out the way that to let people understand what that really means. Like Halo Infinite last year had like still has kind of low player numbers. I ran into people, other YouTubers and people in this gaming community in Halo Infinite as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like the same people who are now saying, well, that's no big deal, would have been laughing if I said that about Halo Infinite last year. Because I'm saying about Concord, apparently that's not a problem. And again, not open beta yet, but we'll see what happens. But pre-order numbers, I mean, they may want to, at the very least, when this game launches in August, they may want to just put it in PS Plus.
Yeah,
so
I think putting it on PS Plus would be smart.
Right, even though that hasn't saved games before either, because Foam Stars and Destruction All Stars were put into PS Plus and it didn't save it. But those games,
Foam Stars
no one
didn't do
really
good?
said, no, it didn't. Foam Stars fell off after like a week. But and Destruction All Stars, they were putting bots in Destruction All Stars after like 3 or 4 months. But I would say I see more people speaking positively about Concord than those previous games. So maybe it would help with PS Plus.
Oh, okay. All right. Saber says, I love the persistent equipment and the ability diversity. The movement could be faster on tanks and some characters need a weapon buff.
Yeah, I agree. I
agree
with that.
So, yeah, I feel like you guys killed this topic. Appreciate you guys offering your input because I'm like, man, I looked at that game and I was like, no, thank you. That's just not my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? It's not my cup of tea. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about this Game Pass pricing increase. I'll be honest, I let my Games Pass I canceled it. Okay. And it's not anything to do with Game Pass. I canceled a bunch of subscriptions because I'm trying to save money. So that was just one of the ones on the chopping block. So let me just pull this up.
I wish I could do that, but I've still got Game Pass till 2025. So
that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it. To be honest, though, when I think about Xbox's games coming out, I'm like buying most of them. So I really don't have much need for Game Pass, but I'll let it run.
You're buying them on Steam?
Of course, I'm getting Avowed.
Is that because the Xbox PC app is a flaming pile of garbage?
No, it's because when I go to buy the codes off, for example, CD Keys or Green Man, they only provide codes for Steam for the most part. So it is what it is. And the fact that I have all my games on Steam, so it is, yeah. And the Steam and the Windows Store is trash, but you know, hey.
Okay, so Xbox Game Pass Ultimate's monthly price will jump from $16.99 a month to $20 a month. A PC Game Pass will increase from $9.99 to $11.99, and Xbox Game Pass Core will stay at $9.99 monthly, but will rise from $59.99 to $74 or $75 a year for annual plans, according to multiple outlets. A new middle tier Xbox Game Pass standard will be available to players in the near future at $14.99 per month, though it will not include access to day one titles, the ability to pre-install select video games and play them the day they release without having to outright purchase them. So in Comparison, PlayStation Plus Premium, the $17.99 per month PlayStation equivalent to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, will be the cheaper of the two subscription services, following the price increase, securing a $2 per month advantage over Xbox's most expensive tier. The middle and low tier subscription plans for Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus will cost the same for players. Existing users on the Xbox Game Pass for console plan, which is essentially being replaced by the new $14.99 a month standard tier, will be able to keep their $11 a month subscription and access to day one games. So, thoughts?
My immediate thought is, I love the way they try to represent. I mean, it is cheaper, but they try to represent that they're equivalent. But one gives you day one games, and like the other one doesn't, which is kind of weird how they worded it in the article. Like they're trying to compare apples to apples, where it's like they're just the top tier of each service. But I mean, overall, I mean, for the people already in Game Pass, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal for them because they're going to want the day one games. These people, the players who, you always see them under the post. When's it coming to Game Pass? When's it coming to Game Pass? When's it coming to Game Pass? These people, they'll pay the ultimate tier. They'll go, okay, cool. Now for new people coming into the service, it's going to be a big ask because for your day one games, you now have to pay the 20, which is, I'm not entirely sure if that will capture the value proposition. Because if you just go with standard, you don't get the day one games. You still get the Game Pass catalog, but as they said, it's between 6 to 12 months before a game gets added to the catalog away from Ultimate tier. So I really don't know how they're gonna try and work this. I mean, they claim they're talking about options, and sure, there is options, but most of the people already there are gonna go to Ultimate, and you're not selling consoles anyway. So I don't know how you're gonna bring in all these new subscribers. So I think they're just monetizing what they already have. We already have this amount of subscribers. Let's squeeze a bit more juice out of them. And I think that's what their plan is. Convince all the people on the lower tiers to go up to the ultimate tier.
Considering that they are grandfathering in those who are on Xbox Game Pass, I think that they understand that if they tried to push them off of it, there'd be a massive backlash for that. I think this is definitely trying to create force value on their tiers. And when you discontinue a tier and then create a new tier that replaces it, that's like $5 more expensive, but yet has less benefits to it. That's pretty obvious what you're trying to do here. You want people, you're basically telling people, don't you want Ultimate? Isn't see how great Ultimate is as a deal? And it's the illusion of choice, because clearly, yeah, you have a choice to choose whatever you want, right? But what are people realistically going to choose if they're interested in Game Pass and these are their choices? They're going to choose Ultimate because Ultimate gives them the most value. And so I kind of already knew they were going to raise the price this month. And that was kind of a foregone conclusion. So I'm not shocked by that at all. I always kind of figured them discontinuing a tier to introduce a new tier that costs more but has less value was always going to be looked at poorly by the gaming community. And if you're getting, it's pretty obvious when you see who is valued here and who's not, because they raised the price of PC Game Pass, which was probably the only thing that shocked me. I thought they weren't going to raise that. But they raised the price of PC Game Pass, but they only raised it $2 and they didn't take away the day one releases of Xbox games, because
they were like, "Oh, I hope that this is okay and this doesn't upset the PC."
Exactly, because they know what's up. They know what's up. They know the PC community don't play. They'll make an example out of you. They feel like you're trying to get over on them. And frankly, console gamers just don't do that. You know, like they still paying for online, which is ridiculous, because you shouldn't have to pay for something that you already have through your ISP. And they know, all the platforms know that you can get console gamers to pay for that, and they'll do it. And so when it comes down to it, it is what it is. I think this is console gamers getting the short end of the stick yet again, and the Xbox leadership doesn't really care about the console itself. They care about expanding beyond that. They care about xCloud and putting their stuff on a Fire Stick. They care about, the PC app. They care about making a handheld that could, bring in a new community of gamers. But I don't think they understand fully how much they're kind of giving their base the short end. But we'll see what happens.
I think they are fully aware that they're screwing over the console gamers, and I just don't think they care. They're like, well, what's gonna happen?
I think they think that their console gamers would just take it and not go nowhere.
Well, they will. They've demonstrated they will. Look at how all these people count out as PlayStation and Xbox on console, but then when they try doing some shit on PC, you get bitch slapped back into reality. Like, there's a clear difference. People they've trained the console user. You pay for online, you do this, you do that, and you just live your happy life. Whereas PC has always been options. Don't do this on here. We told you for years, don't do this on here, and all the companies have learned to don't do this. Whereas console players just sat back there and accepted it. And bear in mind, they've accepted it for how many years now? What? Back original Xbox, so like
360,
360
at least.
Yeah. Like they've been trained to do it. So Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo knows they could get away with it. And what are you gonna do? Go, oh no. Yeah, the problem is only like 20 people will say, oh no, I'm canceling. The other 50 million people are gonna still be paying. So who's showing Sony? There's no unity in the action. So look how fast PlayStation backed off that whole PS Plus thing on Helldivers 2. They learned straight away, like, yo, you're not doing this. So, what do you think, Forte?
I think it's just interesting to see. Like, I was talking to Attic when this all happened. I was like, this is going to be probably some of the biggest overreactions I've ever seen, where people knew something was going to happen and then and actively talked about remedies of what they should do, because the conversation for 2.5, 3 years has been, this isn't sustainable. What is Xbox doing? They can't sustain this. What can they do to sustain it? Well, maybe they should start a new tier and put Gamepass Ultimate as its own separate tier with games day and date. And I was sitting there like, wow, y'all telling them what to do. And when it comes to fruition, it's just real interesting to see how all this just comes back around when you just pay attention to it for years and years and years. And my thing is, Xbox finally came out and told you, or Microsoft finally came out and told you, that $16.99 a month is not sustainable for them when it comes to Xbox Live Ultimate. You can't keep giving you I was about to say free because these games aren't free, but they can't keep giving you these games at that low entry price anymore. I mean, they made the move last year in July, right before Starfield came out. They raised it from $14.99 to $16.99. So we got a $2 bump right then and there. And then this year we get the $3 bump. People talk about how they eliminated the tier. They eliminated the tier to make a new, well, not make a new tier. Well, they made a new tier, but they moved the tier up and then added the tier in the middle. It's kind of give and take thing right there, because the only thing that I always saw as an issue with Game Pass was you were asking people to subscribe to a service that had multiplayer games in it, and you didn't have some people didn't have multiplayer to play those games because base Game Pass didn't come with multiplayer. So you're paying $11.99 a month, and then you still were paying your equivalent. If you did have Xbox Live separately, you were essentially paying $20 unless you paid Ultimate and got the discounted rate. So I don't mind that they did that, because they finally fixed that little loophole. Now the Game Pass standard comes with Xbox Live. It comes with Game Pass. It just doesn't come with the day and date games. So it really just comes back to that is that $5 difference going to really matter to a lot of people? And for me, I feel like $20 is not a lot for it, but I can understand how people feel like in one instance they've been paying a certain thing for so long and they just want to keep doing it. Now, the fact that they allow you to keep that tier, as long as you don't let your membership lapse or anything, I think that was a good compromise to the same situation. Because they already know people are going to let credit cards expire and stuff like that, and then they're just going to be screwed after that. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I have Game Pass until 2026. But I also know when people kept talking about the financial repercussions of what Game Pass was, I kept telling people, I said, listen, stop trying to count the money that they're spending and take advantage of the promotion they're giving you. Like, we're talking about, is it sustainable? But dude, who cares if it's sustainable? They're giving it to you for $1 or $3 or $5. Half these people didn't even pay $15. I wonder what the breakdown of people that's been paying full Game Pass price, like on a consistent basis, versus the people that have the stacking and stuff, because they actually called that out, talking about you can only stack up to 13 months because they know that a good majority of their player base, that's what they were doing and that's what they did. So, yeah, it sucks that they're doing this. It sucks that we got to pay more money, because anybody that tells you they want to pay full price for anything is I won't say they're a liar, but I just don't believe anybody wants to pay full price for anything, especially if you walk into a store and see the wrong sticker on something and they want to charge you for it at the register. You say, oh no, it says this price on it. So you definitely want to get a discount anytime you can. So that's kind of where this is all coming from. People don't want to pay more money, and I get it. So
yeah. And if you don't want to pay more money, get yourself a PC.
Get a PC. And guess what? Xbox and Microsoft are perfectly fine with you doing that, because guess what? For the last 3-4 years, they've been telling you don't need a console. And they're telling you actively,
and they're continuing to say it. But what's the first thing they show you when they talked about the Fire Stick? No console, no
console needed.
Oh, yep. They don't care. So just go get yourself a PC. You don't have to be charged for paying online. You get $70 games. You don't have to pay $70. I can tell you right now, all the latest releases will not be $70. If you just go look at
this is the thing. This is my thing. Instead of people, like I said, I understand people are upset because they have these systems. These are the ecosystems that they live in and they participate in. That's fine. And maybe it's easy for me to say this because I'm a person that has everything, so I have options. But I've never been the type of person that would be stuck and say, I'm gonna take whatever they give me. No, because this is the thing. To you mean it's like to you feel like these corporations actually care, where these corporations don't care. They put on good personas and stuff. They go out and they speak really nice to the community and everything like that. But everybody, once again, is just a number. Just a number, another console that was sold. You have $1 value attached to the console that you bought. You know, every company has it where they'll tell you, like, if this person buys X amount of things from you, that means they're a person that's going to spend like $800. Like, you know, how they did with PlayStation 4, where they said everybody that bought a PlayStation 4 pretty much attached anywhere from $600 to $800 with their console over the course of the life of their console. You have a dollar amount tied to you. So when they do things that you don't like, you have the option to say, no, I'm going to make the dollars that you want from me work for me and go somewhere else where I don't have to pay for those things. And, you know, once people start thinking like that, then and stop thinking like fanboys, then they'll be good. They'll be good. But this is all fanboy driven right now. They're upset because Papa Xbox done turned up the price on them.
But
Said
look,
you got to pay for rent.
But you know, Forte, in our own chat on DPS Podcast Thursday nights 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in our own chat, we had people when we suggested, after already knowing what was going to happen, when we suggested that this may happen, we had people in our chat telling us that ain't gonna happen. That ain't true.
Yeah.
and
Delusional.
now they go, oh,
delusional.
And why did they say it wasn't going to happen? Because, oh, well, you know, they told the FTC they wouldn't raise the price for Call of Duty. Yes, they did say that. And they did it anyway. And if the FTC asks them, why'd you raise prices? They're going to say it was because of business, blah, 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 blah. But they ain't going to say it's because of Call of Duty, but we all know it's because of Call of Duty. What they told the FTC isn't going to change what they're going to do. And when people tell you they are absolutely working on X, Y, Z, I mean, yeah, you don't want to believe everybody.
Right.
But let's be for real here. You know, Call of Duty makes how much money a year?
Billions.
Call of Duty is in the top 3 games sold every single year. And they're going to just put that in Game Pass and not potentially not recoup the sales that they would normally get off of a minimum $70 game. They want to grow that subscription, but
I think them putting Call of Duty in Game Pass was a mistake, honestly, but not surprising, but a mistake. A shout out to Bless with Super Chat saying, I tried out Game Pass for 1 month for $1 to complete The Outer Worlds before cancellation. I've spent less money on Game Pass than this Super Chat. Shout out to you, my guy. I appreciate you.
Shout out to you, man. Hey, that's what a lot of people are.
Someone in the chat also mentioned DRM. GOG exists. All the games they sell on there are DRM free. You get all the files and everything.
Yep, my Witcher 3 is DRM free.
Yep, Witcher 3, there's tons of AAA games on there that are DRM free. And so you don't even get screwed that way either. If you really want the options there. See, it always comes back to options. And console gamers, you don't get options. They will serve you a shit sandwich, and you will eat that shit sandwich, and you will do it happily. And that's the way it is.
People don't realize that even Steam has a function inside of it where Gabe talked about it. If Steam was to ever, like shut down Steam, that they can revert all those licenses to you, and it's a mechanism in Steam where your games would just become DRM free.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of Steam, it's there already, but they have it locked down right now because it's an online infrastructure. The moment that thing becomes unviable for them, and they say they don't want to do it anymore or whatever, they can just flip a switch and all your games are just DRM free at that point.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly speaking, I expected the price hike. Obviously, every subscription service price is going up, which is why I canceled a bunch of them last week. So
you still pay for your Netflix?
No, actually, I get it from my grandma.
Man, yeah, everybody's asking like, how much you pay for Netflix? I said more than I pay for Game Pass.
Yeah, like I get Netflix through my grandma. I get Hulu through Rome in the community. The only thing I pay for Peacock and Crunchyroll, and I think I had said something else. Peacock and Crunchyroll and Amazon Prime. Those are the 3 that I pay for.
We only pay for Netflix and Amazon Prime. We have every major network. So somebody pays for something, but yeah, we only pay for 2 of them.
Yeah, I was just I had all of them, I had all of them and I wasn't using all of them. So I was like, all right, let me go ahead and cancel. If anybody has Macs and wants to give me their username and password so I can watch some Rizzoli and Isles, that'd be
Man.
great. Thank you.
Unfortunately, I'm too cheap for that. Like everything I can get for free.
That's fair.
So
Yo, I didn't know that. The funny thing is, I didn't know that Max had a higher tier that you could subscribe to that gives you HD. I thought I had HD the whole time because it looked so good, and I was like, "Wait a minute, there's a higher tier." I'm good on what I got.
Them cutting off better quality video behind paywall is just it's so vile, dude.
Yeah, Amazon did the same thing with ads. At one point you had Amazon Plus, and you just you were ad free. You were ad free with that. You were ad free on Twitch, and then they said, "Nope, let's further monetize that."
$3.
Now you got to get another tier in order to get what you were already enjoying. For both of them. So you want ad-free Amazon Prime, you're gonna have to spend more money. You want ad-free Twitch, you gotta spend more money. I refuse. So
let me tell you, this is how we know that it's just stupid. All of it's stupid. Netflix, $23 is $22.99 a month if you want the 4K Ultra HD package with Dolby Atmos and everything, blah 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 blah. So by yourself, I'm sitting there like, okay, well, I don't really need 4K. I can step down to the $16 tier and just deal with 1080p and still get Dolby Atmos. I went to go look at all of the features you get. Let me tell you, this is what they do. This is where they get you at. They really don't care about the 4K. They just care about how many people are actually viewing it. So I looked at it, I was like,
that's other people that could be subscribers.
Right. So they're looking at it like, so at the $23 tier, you get to watch it on 6 different devices. You can only watch it on 2 devices, 1 tier down. It's not like they said, 4 devices if you go a tier down. No, they took 4 devices away from you. Who do you know has Netflix and only watches it on 2 devices?
I know, you're so right there, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, who watches it on 2? Like, usually you got it on your phone, your TV.
If you ever look at it on your computer, it becomes a device.
It becomes a device. So I'm like, I got it. Like, literally in my house, it's literally logged in on 4 things in my house by itself. I was like, that's where they get you at.
See,
yeah. Go ahead.
Metro in the chat. See, he understands. He understands the mission. Like, exactly.
The mission.
Like, he understands the mission. Like, you don't really have to be paying all this for these subscriptions. Like, Google is your best friend. Like, come on now.
They say Google. We gotta be legal. We try to be legal out here, bro.
Hey, I didn't say anything.
If they play fair, they will have far less Robin Hoods out here giving.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Giving these services to the
giving
poor.
away the state secrets.
I mean, if you're gonna make Netflix 30, can I blame you for sailing the high seas?
$30.
$30. I will literally.
I would high seas.
There is no level of Stranger Things going to make me pay $30 a month.
Look, if Netflix goes up to $30 a month, I'm putting jailbroken Fire Sticks on every TV in my house. Mess with me if they want to.
$30. What?
No, the thing is, though, if you look
I've been itching for an excuse to do that anyway. So hey, just making it easier.
To be honest, you should be doing that anyway. Just save yourself some money.
I know I should. Yep.
But you know, it's
I'm just lazy.
But Netflix keeps raising the prices every year, so I could see it getting to 30 at some point. Like, that's gonna happen more than likely.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
raising it.
I feel like for everyone there is a cutoff point, and Netflix hit that cut. I don't even. How much is Netflix a month?
$22.99.
Okay, so right around maybe, I don't know. they hit a cutoff point for me a couple years ago. So
A lot
I
of
was
people
like,
said $17.99 when it was there was kind of it for them. 17,
yeah,
18.99.
that was probably what it was for me. I'm like, yeah, I'm not spending that. Uh, I'm just not. You know what I'm saying? So, I asked my grandma. I was like, can you get Netflix so I can watch Bridgerton season 3? And she did, and I'm like, thank you. And I watched it with ads, and it was fine. You know what I'm
Get
saying?
your
It's fine.
get a T-Mobile phone and let T-Mobile pay for your ad version.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good idea too. Okay, before we get to, is there anything else you guys would like to discuss for the Game Pass thing?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so before we get to the death of Slim Shady's thoughts, I might be the only one who listened to the album here.
No,
I
you
listened to
didn't.
part of it. I haven't
No,
finished all of it.
I listened to the entire album the minute it dropped.
Me too. I was also
We're
up.
talking about me. Like I am a stan, as they say in these streets.
Really, I didn't know that you were an Eminem
I didn't know you were
fan.
Eminem
No,
fan.
I absolutely love Eminem. And it's like some people just love to hate, but yeah, no, I actually we've had this conversation before on Scumcast.
Have we? Oh,
Yeah, we
probably.
have.
With what? With
Yeah,
Kamikaze?
when Kamikaze dropped. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Jid's feature, oh my god, was fucking amazing.
That Fuel is a fire song.
Fire.
Beginning to
Fire.
end.
So
That is
fucking good.
heat. Gone.
Oh, so good. That's my favorite song on the album. 100%.
Cool.
And then I
Yeah.
also really like Antichrist. And then
Yep.
I like Renaissance, Guilty Conscious 2, Toby, of course. Yeah, so the only one that I did not like, I lyrically, Habits is good, but I didn't like how Eminem sounded, and I didn't like the beat. But, like, lyrically, he has some good lyrics in there. And then I did not like which one is it? I think it was Road Rage when he's doing the going after fat people.
Oh yeah, the whole fat rhyme scheme. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I wasn't was it Road Rage? Oh, okay,
it
so
was Road Rage.
let's see here. I was just like, "Oh, this isn't as," I guess it was kinda baffling. I've never heard him like he's mentioned fat people before, but, like, not like this, you know? And so, I was just kinda like, I don't know, like, it just didn't sound good, I guess. It sounded kinda weird hearing it from him.
I've only listened to maybe a third of the album so far, but I would say that I think his wordplay and his all that stuff is top notch, like you would
Yes.
expect, and he's coming a lot better than he has in previous albums. But his production, and people have said it for years, that his production is kind of lacking. I think it's even worse with this album. I think he could have had much better producers working with him, but
I
so
don't
too, yeah.
I don't think he did much of it though, because like I know Dre was heavy on the project. I haven't looked at the credits for the production though. I know Dre did a couple of the tracks. Guilty Conscience 2 was definitely Dre.
he is rich enough to get Dre to do the whole album. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, he is, but
Like,
obviously he has his other producers he works with as well, right? Because also bear in mind, Dre is working with Snoop on their album, on Snoop's album, right? So, they got that going on. So obviously he's gonna have to divide his time between the two. Plus, he also probably does stuff for Kendrick anyway. But then, like the album, all the way up to Guilty Conscience 2, I thought was fire. Road Rage, lyrically, amazing. Sonically, like the way it sounds,
Mhm.
not the best. Definitely not one of my favorites. I would rate it
Yeah.
at the lower.
I would say definitely not one of my favorites, and it's like the opposite for me in terms of, Habits, lyrically good, but sonically, I'm like, "Ah."
See, I enjoyed Habits. It was like, it had, because obviously throughout the album, if you notice up till Guilty Conscience 2, it's Slim Shady versus Eminem,
Yeah,
they're
it's
having
a,
this
it's
battle.
like he was saying, it's a
Yeah.
concept album, and him like, people taking the lyrics out of context and like, "Oh, this is so bad," all this extra shit people are doing. I actually saw somebody talk about Eminem, and they used Jid's lyric and we're trying to say that Eminem said the N-word. And I'm just like, that's not his line. Like, it doesn't say
People just
featuring...
like they didn't even listen.
They didn't
just
listen to
hating
the
the
song,
They
man.
didn't listen to it because he I think what they're on about is when he was on about ginger, and they're trying to make it N-word
It wasn't
equivalent.
even that. It was like
Oh, it
just
wasn't
a
that one?
random. It was a random lyric from the song that featured the N-word, and they're just saying, "Oh, is this okay?" And it's just like, that's Eminem didn't say that.
I mean, to be fair though, he did stir a lot, which was the point of the album. Like he knew what he was getting into. Like if you listen to a lot of the bars, like the P Diddy flips, absolutely
Oh,
hilarious,
wonderful, but like
chef's
so clever.
chef's kiss. But then it's like, oh, he's the one where obviously he bleeped out Cassie's name.
Oh
but
yeah,
we all knew.
but that
we
the
all knew
rhyme
what it.
scheme going up to that was very good. You know what I'm saying? Like lyrically, very good, but like sonically, I'm like, eh. So which one was that? Lucifer or Antichrist?
Was it
I
Lucifer?
can't remember actually.
It was one of them, either Lucifer or Antichrist.
Mhm.
But like Evil was pretty good. I enjoyed Evil. Really simplistic hook thing, but Evil really enjoyable. And then when you got to after Guilty Conscience 2, like the Easy Mill feature, that was cool. White Gold, nice. And then you had the emotional songs at the end, obviously with Jelly Roll and Skylar Grey. The Skylar Grey song, I felt a certain type of way with the Skylar Grey song. Well, which one was it? No, Save Me was Jelly Roll. I can't remember the name of it right now. But yeah, that was, really nice. And this is one of his best projects he put out in a while. Like if you compare it to Kamikaze, music to be murdered by.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's in comparison to the other two, definitely the
Mhm.
best. Now that Slim Shady is dead, does that mean he's never going to utilize Slim Shady again, or do you think there will be a resurrection?
I think there'll be a resurrection, to be honest.
Yeah, I think there will be too.
I think he'll bring him back because it's like the thing he's like kills him, but then earlier in the album he tells him it's like you've tried to get rid of me before and I've always come back.
Or like we're
You
here together. I'm in you.
Yeah, so I think Slim Shady will come back, but for the concept of the album, oh yeah, merging. I like that. As Cygnus said in the chat, they'll merge into one, like instead of
Okay.
being two separate people. That could be a thing. But overall, like I stayed up till 4 a.m. because it dropped 5 a.m. and I wasn't disappointed. Time well spent. Like
It
that was
definitely was. I was very impressed, and he sounded great, lyrically great. And again, the only one that I was just kind of like meh on was that Rage. Just lyrically, I was just like, just the fat stuff just wasn't hidden for me. You know what I'm saying? I was just and it's not anything to do with like me being offended or upset or come on, dude, I don't fucking care. It's just like it just didn't sound good in my opinion, but everything else was great.
I also shared today on Twitter the Candace Owen thing because
I know. Did you see her say that Eminem needs her to stay relevant? I was like, girl, what are you talking about?
And she said, "Oh, he's acted like a child," and her opening line was, "He's gay."
Exactly.
I'm like, really,
100%,
like really.
100%.
Come on,
like,
man.
come on now, because you're so right. But you know what? She's probably being dead ass when she says that. Now she was like, yes, that's a gay man, and you guys have to remember that. Like, he's just like, he was cleaning out his mother's closet, but he decided not to come out. I was like, girl, what are you talking about? But yeah, she was like, he needs me to stay relevant, which is why. Like he even mentioned me, even though she mentioned him first, like she talked about him first, which is why he even took shots at her. And then like she was like, Black Americans like me now. And what else?
No, they don't. She's so delusional.
She said that like Eminem doesn't sell well anymore and he's fallen off and nobody's like, I'm just like, okay, so he's had a couple of like, songs, right? You're like, you know what I'm saying? But like in terms of his, like, what was she talking about? She was just like factually incorrect about pretty much all of it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it's just because she just does not like Eminem or what. I like what he basically he was basically like he basically called her like Clandis, you know, because like KKK, and said that the crackers that back her talk shit about her behind her back, and like,
of course they do.
you know,
and she forgot she's black. That was one in the leading thing. But
right, and he also said that he would. Okay, Candace Owens says Eminem is deliberately attempting to appeal to black people because he lost all his white supporters. I was like, no, what are you talking about? Like, she was just yapping. She was just yapping, dude. I was like, man, like, he really upset her, like, for real. And
he triggered her entire fan base, because you should have seen the comments of
I
the video.
did see the comments, dude. They were definitely fucking like, I know that she's popular. I didn't realize she was that popular. You know what I'm saying? So, but even still, like,
she's popular enough that she could say factually wrong things and it not matter because the people who follow her aren't going to fact check her, and she knows that.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. Pretty much. So, can't be mad at it. A hustler's gonna hustle, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's just kind of like just listening to her talk about Eminem like he's nothing was just like so strange to me. And then people keep bringing up like the age thing, like, oh, he's too old to be saying and doing certain things. Here's the thing, right? I honestly don't think it really matters what Eminem says about anything, because from my fucking childhood, I'm like, I was listening to Eminem when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have so many of his songs memorized, and I was rapping Kill You and Criminal today and just kind of laughing to myself as I was saying all of that, because like objectively what he says in all of those songs is awful, you know?
It is
And
awful.
he's the only rapper that I know who can say all of these things and it not really mean anything. Like, he's not gonna get it's not gonna affect him in any way. You know what I'm saying? Like, DaBaby went on a tirade about like gay people. He was definitely tripping. Like, bro, what are you doing? Right? He went on that tirade and like people did fucking get him out of here. Like, his shit dropped real bad. But Eminem has been saying like crazy shit since he was in his 20s. He's like in his 50s now. And it's kind of like he has said every terrible thing imaginable, you know? And I was like listening to what was I listening to? I was listening to a D12 song, and like, some of Bizarre's lyrics on those songs, it's just kind of like,
What Bizarre is?
Yeah, Bizarre sucks as a rapper, and it's just all shock value.
just shock
lyrics.
value,
Freaking
100%.
terrible.
When he was talking about something about a 12-year-old babysitter, man, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, so I was just kind of like, man, but like ultimately, I just like there's this whole okay. I don't think Gen Z is trying to cancel Eminem. I kind of think that's like there are a couple of outliers where people who are in Gen Z are like, ugh, I don't want to see this. Isn't he tired? He's old, 51 years old, all this stuff, because Eminem is taking shots at Meg Thee Stallion. He's taking shots, not really. It wasn't really a shot at Nicki. It wasn't a shot at Nicki. He said that he's so good at rapping that he could make Meg and Nicki scissor, basically, which is it's just funny, it's just a funny line
because they're beefing,
because they're quote unquote beefing, which is that's not really a real beef. Like, Nicki's just a weirdo, honestly speaking. She needs to get off the drugs, man. But yeah, so so it's just like, so there are people in the younger generation who, and honestly rightfully so, because again, the things that he has said are objectively awful, but the things that he has said on this album and even the last two albums, compared to what he was saying on his earlier albums, are nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of like
he did bring some of that back, like when you could tell it was Slim Shady rapping, not Eminem.
Mhm.
Like when he tells him to shut up and shoves a sock in his face, and he's like, "Don't worry, I got this," and then he starts going off on a tirade, and he talks about the R words and all that
Yeah,
kind
but
of thing.
even he was poking fun at himself where he's like, "Well, why is it okay for me to say this, but I can't say the F slur?" You know? And so,
Yep.
and I remember him apologizing for using it in one of his songs, which I was completely baffled by. I'm like, "Why are you
Yeah, I was.
apologizing? You have literally said so many awful things, and this is what makes you apologize," you know? And, like, again, objectively awful things. I don't care that they're objectively awful because I like how
Mhm.
Eminem sounds, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I from I have been a fan of Eminem for a very, very long time, and I even like a lot of the songs on Revival. I know people fucking hate that album, but I like a lot
No,
of the songs on
the
Revival,
thing
so
is, Revival's really good. Like Walk on Water is like I love the way Walk on Water's done. Like, sure, Beyonce's on the hook. Okay, cool, but like just the way he raps and what it's about, it's like it's real. Like he's actually spinning something facts. Whereas like on this album, he's just going off on all this kind of thing, and you could tell it's jokes. Like people take the lyrics and they're like, "Oh, look at this and look at that," and then it's like, "Yeah, but on Guilty Conscience too, he has an argument with himself, and he's arguing about all the stuff Slim Shady's done." And then he wraps it all up by killing Slim Shady, and it's like you could see that he understands, and everyone who's listened to him, because I listened to Eminem Infinite, went the Infinite CD. That's how long I've listened to Eminem.
yeah.
So like it's
But hold on one second. Slow-mo, while me and Singer are talking, go listen to Fuel, at least, so you can see
oh
what we were
yeah,
talking
listen
about
to
with
Fuel.
JID.
Oh, Fuel is the way
A
JID came
best
out, man.
fucking song. I'm so happy for Jid, dude. I'm
So
so
am I.
fucking happy. Like, this is gonna do wonders for him. And he deserves it because he's so fucking talented. He's my favorite rapper right now. And he went fucking crazy. He had the opportunity to really show up and show out, and he did, and that is the best song on the album, in my opinion. Um,
I would agree. It
um,
is probably, yeah, I'd agree. It's the best song on the album. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
yeah,
And a-
it's great, man.
another funny flip, I ended up dying laughing. I had to pause. Was the whole got so many essays.
Mhm.
He didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out the P, did he? And I was like, oh,
And then he said R.I.P. to Biggie. Oh my god, so
yo,
good. So fucking
his
good, dude.
lyrical
So
ability and
amazing.
his wordplay is just
His wordplay is
off the
so
charts.
crazy. Like, he's just so talented, honestly speaking. Like, I
Hmm.
don't get me wrong, Eminem has definitely had some lyrics where I'm like, this is fucking awful. Like, objectively awful in the sense that this is a terrible fucking line, right? He's definitely had songs
Hmm.
like, but he's also had so many songs where it's like it's just so fucking good. It's just so fucking good. That P. Diddy flip was so good, dude. Like, it was great, man. It's a great fucking album in my opinion. I'm very happy about it. Um, like, I you know what? I do hope he responds to Candace, and I hope it's like the mix of Slim and him, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just
Oh,
really.
I'm sure he'll have another song or a feature or something coming up, and he's gonna address it. I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen, and
Because
it's gonna
she
be
is tripping, dude. Like, she's
like
fucking
she did an
tripping.
entire live on her YouTube and put a video on there,
She's
and
really feeling herself, dude, and I get it, like, she has the numbers to back her, but at the same time, you gotta really, like, know who you are, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knows who Eminem is, not everybody knows who Candace Owens is, you know what I'm saying? So,
yes, but yeah,
yeah.
the
Yeah,
album was
she's a political talking head in the American political hemisphere. Eminem is a global entertainer.
Exactly.
So yeah, more people know who he is, and you don't want to go there. But yeah, I'll definitely check the Jid verse and song because I'm a fan of his as well. Eminem, I've noticed in the past, as always, when there's like an artist that's like really good, he makes sure, lyrically good. He makes sure that, like, he wants to work with the best. So just him even being on the album really kind of like
it says a
solidifies
lot.
It says a lot about his career.
Also, did you notice the features? It was light, but the features he got were good features.
Yes.
G.I. Jid, great. Easy Mill, great. Skylar Grey, they make fantastic songs together. They will work together for the rest of the time. Eminem's making music. There will always be a Skylar Grey feature because she does some really damn good hooks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have obviously White Gold, silky smooth. Like White Gold's hooks, ooh, chef's kiss. But then you have Jelly Roll. It was fantastic, but that was it for features. Like, apart from Bizarre coming on the end.
I know that's because him and Bizarre are friends. He's like, let me make sure my boy can get a line in. You know what I'm saying? And it was a short line too.
It was a short line, and he said some shock things. It was like, I want to get on Haley's podcast. I'm like, oh man, what are we doing here? But
the skits talking about great. Sucking on her toes, brother.
Mm-hmm. And the Bruce Jenner flips were actually really good.
Yeah.
Bruce Generous. Man. That whole scheme. It's great. And the Christopher Reeves. You could tell they were Slim Shady because he was 100%. Bragging out Chris with the brand new dance.
And it also, like, Eminem's middle name is Bruce. So it's like he's talking about Bruce Jenner, but also himself. You know what I'm saying?
But then he talks about I'm as much a boy as Bruce Generous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I'm a man. I'm just like, yeah.
Man, bitch.
Yeah, no, it's this shit was fire, dude. So good. So good. I'm so happy that it was a good album. I'm definitely like, even today I was listening to it. And even today, like, it came out yesterday, but like, yeah, even like I was listening to it today and just really like diving into the music, I started watching some YouTubers dissect the music, and it's just fun. I love new music coming out, and I'm really happy that this song was good, or the album was good. And ultimately, like, again, yeah, there were a couple people who were talking shit about Eminem on socials, but again, no one is trying to cancel him because he can't be canceled, like, you cannot cancel someone with that kind of reach and that kind of money. He made himself based on the controversial things that he said, one, but also the fact that he's just a fantastic rapper and lyricist, So there were a couple of idiots who thought he was dissing Kendrick and Kanye, and it's just like, no, you don't know how to fucking read or comprehend.
Their comprehension is so bad. Like, I heard that lyric and I didn't see anyone talk about it, but I was like, watch people think he's dissing Kendrick off of that lyric, and I knew people would do that.
You know what's crazy? The lead up to it, he said, "Let's go inside the mind of a hater," and then he leads into it. And it's like, what? You missed that part? You missed him say, "Let's go into the mind of a hater"?
Also, the part where he mentions, like, Slim's new album is trash, and like, he even mentions himself, but they still thought he was dissing Kendrick. People are so obsessed with disses now that they're not using their brain.
Exactly, because it came up to there was an interview that Eminem did. He was given like Kendrick props, and people tried to like find a way to make it say, "Oh, he's dissing Kendrick. Kendrick should go at him," and then they go, "Oh, well, who will win the battle, Kendrick or Eminem?" And the Kendrick dick riders was just like clearly off their rocker. It's just people off of the heels of the whole Drake Kendrick beef are just so now hyped for anything in that regard that they just want Kendrick to battle anybody.
Yeah, but the thing is, Kendrick is the greatest of his generation, but he's not Eminem's generation. He's the generation
Kendrick also legitimately disliked Drake, and we don't know even if they did get into it, like, would Kendrick even go at M the way he did with Drake? Like,
the thing is, he wouldn't, because Kendrick, for one, he's with Dre, right? So he's in the same camp as Eminem, where Snoop Dogg is and all that. But then also at the same time, it's like Kendrick has publicly spoken about how one of his albums was basically just a homage to Eminem. Like, Eminem's one of his biggest influences. So, like, why would he go at that? Now, him going at Drake is, that's just hilarious.
And Drake deserves it, honestly. I'm not gonna fucking argue.
Yeah. I mean, rest in peace to Drake. Like, you got bodied hard, and it's no contest. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, why would he go at Kendrick? It makes no sense for Eminem to go at Kendrick in any world. So
Like,
I don't know how they got that.
He has respect for Kendrick. He has respect for J. Cole. He has respect for Joyner.
Jonah.
Like, like these are just people he's just not gonna go at. You know what I'm saying? He has respect for Kanye and Lil Wayne because he shouted them out too. Of course, his own crew with 50 and Snoop. Like he's not gonna like come on. Like he has no reason to go at Kendrick, and Kendrick has zero reason to go at Eminem. Like the only reason someone would go at Eminem is if they just didn't like his music. You know, didn't like the things that he was saying, and then tried to beef with him, you know, but it's just kind of like, all right, well, we've seen how that goes.
Dorian's correct that they are in the same family because the whole lineage connecting all of them is Dre, but then you think of Aftermath as a whole, like probably one of the greatest labels to ever exist. Like I don't think you can match Aftermath when you think about 50 Cent, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Dre, Kendrick. And then you had the Game at one point. You had bunch of other people on there, but it's like they're all in the same thing. And you saw at the Super Bowl, like it was Snoop, Dre, Kendrick, Eminem, and they're all part of the same team. So I mean, it's anyone who took that, I don't know how you could take it out of context. Either you don't listen, or you're just deliberately looking for like small things.
They're just deliberately looking for things to instigate beefs with because they want to see more battle rapping, which I understand that part, but you can't force things. You can't force a beef and then have it have the same impact that you got with Kendrick and Drake. It's just not how it works.
It really isn't. And I think that's the issue is that there are people trying to force it. You know what I'm saying? Like there are people like, oh, I can't wait for the day that someone disses Jid because that's going to be phenomenal for me. Like I would like, he's so amazing. So that's what whoever has beef with Jid in the future, that's what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, like come on, I'm sorry, but you'd have to be an idiot to go after Eminem, honestly speaking. Like I'm like this no, so and that's not even me being a dick rider. I mean, maybe I sound like a little bit of a dick rider, I don't know. But like yeah,
I mean it's not like there's levels to dick riding though, because there's like Kendrick fans, the diehard ones, which is like all the way in. I mean, every inch. Like they are full on. But like Eminem fans have always been like the very hardcore have always been that way though, where it's like you said something bad about Eminem, I'm gonna attack you and fight I'll write a 50,000 word essay about why you're wrong and how he's the greatest of all time. And it's like I agree, he is one of the greatest of all time, undoubtedly one of the greatest. Like just on sheer lyricism ability. Like you listen to this album, he's doing long ass rhyme schemes. The whole C thing he did, I can't remember which song it was. We did the C rhyme, and he did it just word after word after word. And when he does the faster thing, he pronounces it well. He enunciates it well.
Yeah, he enunciates.
It's not gibberish. It's
like I understand what the fuck he's saying.
Story. Yeah, exactly. So he's not doing it just to do it. He's doing it, but he's also telling you a story, and it's cohesive. So I mean, that's just the whole thing. The album was absolutely fantastic. Like super, super happy. I'm glad people said Eminem's washed.
I know. Revival dropping and people hate that shit was the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah, it was. Revival is the greatest album to exist because we got Eminem the way he is now.
I know, especially when he dropped the Chloroseptic remix. Oh, he was so angry. He was so angry, and that remix is so fucking good. I was like,
the
yes.
Kamikaze album is just you lit fire under his ass.
Just so good, So I'm happy.
Yeah, The thing is, I was gonna say, angry Eminem is the best Eminem. That's when he makes the best albums.
I agree, especially when people hurt his feelings.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I didn't get any channel member topics, but I did want to, real quick before we skedaddle, yes, Dorian, 100%, I 100 for fucking cent agree with you. 100%. Even at rapping, I think Jid is better, in my opinion. But like I said, he's my favorite rapper right now, and I'm just waiting for more people to recognize his talent, his, like, if you want to call me a dick rider for anyone, it's JID, dude. Like, he's fucking phenomenal. So I think he's better too. But so shout out to Capono, Arcade, Bless, Yobi, a Red Bear, Sygus. I know some of these were gifted memberships, so appreciate it. Scrotum, Mr. Dolo, Phil, Iman, Nico, Fonz, Meat Puppet, King Metrotron, Corey and Bandy, Imar, Damien, Tevin, Ronald, Dealer, MJ, Dirk, Lord Jorenza, DC, Big Daddy, Sub Negro, Jazzy, Dom, Duckman, Sycamore, Zion, Breesky, Lightstripe, Pepitio, Nautical, Jet, Envy, Slomo, and Hannibal. Thank you to everyone who is also who sent in super chats. Appreciate that as well. And yeah, before we go, real quick, you guys want to talk about what happened with Trump?
Sure.
So somebody shot at Trump. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. If I was a Trump supporter, I would be going crazy right now. I would be like, exactly, America, USA, you can't, bulletproof. See, you shot at him and you can't keep him down. Like the photo of him lifting his hand up and the American flag behind. Come on, dude. Like, if propaganda,
which is completely ridiculous
finest,
if you think about it. Like, you just got shot at, and you're going to stop while Secret Service is trying to get you the safety to pump your fist, and I'm like, you're just exposing yourself to get shot at again. But okay,
I mean, they killed the dude, so
right. But it's just like, if you don't know if there's a second shooter, you don't know what else might be happening. Like, it's just, that's not smart on his part. But whatever, right? People loved it, right?
I mean, people fucking love that shit, dude. And honestly speaking, yeah, there are people on social saying, "Oh, this has made it worse." Like, Trump's definitely gonna fucking win the election, like 100%, unless the Democrats can get a different candidate in there, which they're not gonna do because they're arrogant and out of touch, right? Trump's definitely gonna win, and there's really nothing any of us can really do about it. You know what I'm saying? So, this has only bolstered his fan base. Again, if I was a Trump supporter, I would be losing my mind right now, because it's like, wow, like, you shot at my goat and he survived, and woo, America and all that stuff, right? So yeah, there are some people saying that, like, it's not real, and they're being like on the conspiracy theories train and saying it was staged. I'll be honest with you guys, like, you sound a little crazy, okay? You sound just a little crazy. I'm not saying that it's not possible or plausible. I'm just saying, why would you immediately jump to that before we have more information, And it's like, I just saw a video of them carrying out the supposed shooter. The dude, like, they killed somebody, in retaliation to allegedly shooting Trump, right? They killed someone. So I'm not hoping that how do I phrase this exactly? Because of course I don't hope it's real, as in I hope someone tried to kill him. It's more so, I hope it's, like, not fake, but also at the same time, it's just really unfortunate that that this happened, Mostly just because it's like a waste. All it was a waste. It was a waste of a life. I watched the video when it happened. It was a lot of bullets. Dude's aim, stormtrooper aim. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro was like just awful, right? Like, but I just think that at the same time, if we're getting to the point where people are bringing back attempted assassinations, that is something to be concerned about as well. Like, people are getting really impassioned about what's going on. So
likely going to get worse.
yeah. So I definitely, for people who live in the red states, especially, like, I hope you guys are being careful. I'm saying for the people who are not Republicans or conservative who live in red states, just try to be careful. And God, honestly, even with the Republicans and conservatives, be careful as well, because if somebody came out to try and shoot Trump, that means there's like an escalation there, you know? So, good fucking luck, honestly speaking. Again, yeah, it's definitely gonna get worse. 100% gonna get worse after this. But for right now, you know, if I was a Trump supporter, I would be on cloud fucking nine. Yeah, Trump's definitely gonna fucking win. The Democrats are cooked, dude. Like, delusional. Fucking delusional, dude. And
Especially,
it's so bad. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, especially when Biden called Zelensky Putin.
No.
I am like, my guy, how to have a PR nightmare 101.
I
Like,
know, it's so bad, dude.
Like, how can you fuck that up? They were at war with each other and you called Zelensky Putin.
I know, it's so bad. Like, I just wish that again, the Democrats arrogant and out of touch because they think that Biden can win this, you know? So I would be shocked if Biden won. Fucking shocked at how shocked, because his numbers are, his approval rating is just fucking in the drain, you know? So from what, when I last checked, which was a couple months ago, maybe things have changed, maybe things have turned around. So I don't know, guys. I you know, this only applies for me, Slow, and Nautical, because we live in the States. But yeah, bro, like, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
we're
Trump
fucking
was
cooked.
winning. I mean, everywhere's cooked, to be honest, because there's like so many different elections coming up this year, and obviously we've already had ours, and you know, hey, let's see how this goes, shall we? Because
Yeah.
hey, it can't be worse than what we had before, and maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know, Trump getting back in is well, I mean,
know. What's up, J Swolls? Yeah,
I
I
think
know.
I think that I actually don't know for certain Trump wins, simply because in typical Democratic fashion, Democrats like barely turn out the vote. Who knows with the way the political climate is now, whether they even care if Biden is basically a vegetable being led around with a you know, devices that help him walk and whatnot. And I was about to say something I can't say, so let me just not go further. But Biden is a frail old man, and some
Walking
people
corpse,
are
man.
still, he's a walking corpse, and some people are still like, yeah, I'll take him over the blatant racists. And it really just comes down to who's going to vote down party lines, essentially, and what the moderates will do, which is literally every election, but it becomes even more, I guess, confusing to figure out what the moderates would do this time around. Like, which one of these awful choices are you going to vote for? Are you going to vote for the guy who might not even survive the next 4 years and potentially have your first Black and Indian president take over? Or are you going to vote for the dude that clearly doesn't give a shit about like half the country and openly says so, and all of his followers openly say so? So it's just like, what are you going to do? Or are you going to do what I believe a lot of the MAGA people hope people don't do, which is get fed up and don't turn out at all and don't vote at all, because you know they voting.
Oh, 100%.
And they're definitely going to vote regardless of what happens, and they kind of hope that people choose not to. People who, if as far as they're concerned, if you're not voting for him, then don't vote at all. And there are people who, I'm not judging people who choose not to vote, because it is a moral choice if you feel like neither of these people are good candidates, and I'm not voting for the lesser evil. I'm not voting for someone that I don't believe in, and I get that 1,000%. But all that stuff kind of plays into how it turns out, and I think the media also, the political media, tends to get a lot of stuff wrong. Like, remember the 8 years ago when they was like, Trump has no shot. Everyone in all our polls says they'll never vote for Trump. Trump won. And they were just like, I don't understand, because people don't have to tell you the truth in your stupid polls. They could say,
it's more so
I would never vote for Trump. And then they actually do.
There were more people saying, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to vote for Hillary. There were Democrats saying they were not going to vote for Hillary, right? But they were also saying, but that's fine because other people will go out and vote. So it'll be fine. Trump's never going to get in office. But because people did not go out and vote and did not support her, Trump got in office. And now we are dealing with the repercussions, especially with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, which has been wilding lately and taking back everybody's rights systematically, right? Which is pretty bad. Openly and blatantly corrupt Supreme Court, which openly and blatantly takes bribes. We're fucking cooked, bro. But yeah, and by we, I mean like me mostly, since I'm Black and a woman. So it's just kind of like, damn. But I live in a blue state as well, so thank God for that, right? But I'm doing some traveling this year, so wish me fucking luck, right? Yeah, it's
Can I reiterate something that I've been saying for a long time, is that our political system is broken and does not work, and I think we all know that.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Whenever you see politicians taking bribes, but not directly, there are loopholes to bribes, and we all see it, and both sides of the aisle do it, and no one says anything or does anything about it. No one says that's wrong. You should not be taking donations from corporations to your nonprofit organization that hasn't had a single audit in years, even though a legal law nonprofit organization is supposed to get an audit every year, but you don't. And meanwhile, you use that as a piggy bank to do whatever you want. That's a bribe. It's the same thing that we see with the Supreme Court justices, the Clarence Thomas, upstanding individual taking bribes of boats and trips all over the place. And it's just like, we see all this corruption going on all the time. Nothing ever changes. It is part of the issue with this two-party system that we have, where if there was a legitimate candidate that wasn't a Democrat or a Republican, they have zero shot of ever getting elected. Because if they're not one of those two parties, they don't even get invited to the debate. You can't even get on the stage to speak your piece. And then to really get down to it, the root of all this is big business, because big business can finance your campaign. And because campaigns are so expensive, no regular American citizen can actually have a campaign where they get out and have a shot of actually getting elected over someone else, when these other people are backed by pharmaceutical companies, backed by energy companies, backed by tech companies, backed by private prisons. Yes, Cory Booker, I'm looking at you. And it's just like, all of this is going on. And what do you think happens when they get into office? Quid pro quo. They did not spend millions of dollars on your campaign just off of humble. They did it so that when you get into office, you care about their interests, not the American interests, their interests. It is done like that on purpose, and it's not going to change anytime soon. And it's depressing, because it's frustrating to me to see, like, I could just go down the list of everyone that's a politician running, whether it's local government, state, or federal, and they all got somebody that has their hand stuck up their butt and using them as a puppet to speak their own talking points. It's pathetic.
The thing is, it's every political system, as Dorian said in the chat. Their election has been on something wild. like this far right group and everything. I mean, we only have two parties, right? We have Labour and Tories, Conservatives. That's it. Like all the others exist, and they get some seats. But apart from that, you only have two choices, realistically speaking. So it's like, okay, well, I got to pick between either one. But all of them are like that. And some of them are even worse. Like Putin's somehow president forever. Xi Jinping is probably going to be president forever. Italy is actually hilarious, though, because they had a straight-out fight in their equivalent to Congress. Like, they were throwing punches and everything. I was like, oh, okay, at least that's entertaining, right? But they still have the same problem of only two parties. It seems like every single country has this two-party thing, and it's just been built like that, and everyone just copy and paste it. But they have like different issues, but it's the same thing, two parties.
And in our country, it's even worse now that the Supreme Court allowed more power to the executive branch and the president. Now, like, there are things that he can do all in the name of the perseverance of freedom and democracy that is problematic. And that's not how like the government was set up. Like when I took civics class in school, it was always said that like the three branches of the government were supposed to be able to keep each other in check, cancel each other out. That's how they were built. And that's not the case. And that hasn't been the case maybe since like the early 80s. That it has worked that way. And it's just progressively getting worse. And it's funny that like, the mostly Republican Supreme Court made this ruling, which really compromises like what government's supposed to be doing, and it really kind of gives Biden power right now to do some things that would be beneficial to his party, but he won't do it. But when Trump gets in office, you damn well know he's going to be doing some wild shit. So
I will say though, the independents do have some crazy ideas. Like over here in our elections, we have a party called the Monster Raving Loony Party, right? Now, and the leader of the party is Trashbin. Yes, that's his actual name, right? Now, it's hilarious, and I would vote for him, and I'd love for them to run the country because I just think it'll be a barrel of laughs. But it's never gonna happen. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yep.
Well, okay, and then shout out to this fake Aaron Greenberg saying y'all riding that Eminem Keen like I be doing Phil. Love it. Like, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Come on, man. But anyway, it is what it is. Whatever. Yeah. It's man. People are very fucking funny though on social media. Very funny. Slow-mo, I'm about to send you another good one. So
okay.
All right. So anyway, we can just get out of here. Nautical had to step away, but Slow. Oh, I did want to say this. Slow Singer Nautical, thank you so much for holding down the show while I was dealing with those audio issues. I could not fucking hear y'all like at all, dude. It was bad, dude. It was like muffled. I was like, what is going on with my fucking drivers? It's always these fucking drivers, bro. But anyway, I updated my drivers and it fixed the issue. So yeah, thank you guys for holding it down. I really do appreciate you guys as always stepping up and
thank you,
Saber,
business, for correcting me. Yeah, I need to use his proper name. Sorry, Lord Buckethead. Yes. Yeah, you are quite correct. I need to refer to him as his actual given name. But yeah.
All right. And then so yeah, Singer and then Slow. Okay, you guys have anything you want to say?
Listen, go get yourself a PC and stop being a slave to the corporations. And also play your games. And also I am starting the DLC of Elden Ring.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I finished the game because I put it off. And I was like, okay, I finished the end. I did Rani's ending because Actual
Cool.
chef's kiss. Beautiful ending. Like Rani is just such a great character. And now I'm ready to go into the DLC, so that's going to be a journey. Hilarious. Also, listen to Eminem's new album. That's a Slim Shady. Fantastic project. You'll enjoy it.
Alrighty, Slew.
Enjoy your games and don't let what other people think about the games that you enjoy affect how you feel about them. And then that's about it. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, and I don't think Nanako's back, but you know, Nanako, he was here. Appreciate you guys being here. All right, boys, but boys, I'll see y'all next week. Okay, thank you so much for coming down. Wait, actually, can we do the show on Friday?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I have to go to Six Flags next week, so. All right, peace.